I'm Christian Hazel, editor of Peterson's 4-Wheelin' Off-Road, and we are out on another ultimate adventure. UA 2018, here we go!
It's the Wicked Nor'easter. We visit 8 states. We tackled 850 miles
Excellent time to air down.
with 21 built 4x4s.
And then we're going to do some following.
We hit 16 hardcore trails, and sometimes the trails hit back. We had countless repairs,
Trying to make a press out of a ratchet strap.
visited lots of historic sites, and invited 4 lucky teams of readers for the adventure of a lifetime.
Challenging if you don't know your rig very well.
Gave it too much woo pow and broke the front hub.
That was a lot of luck and a lot of skinny pedal. This has been a fun trail so far.
My name is Vern Simons. I'm the tech editor for Peterson's 4-Wheelin' Off-Road magazine. This is the Range Rover. So, like a complete moron, I've decided it's a good idea to buy a $600 1988 Range Rover Classic. That's my buddy Trent. You guys know him.
And every year, we build a vehicle.
There's a lot of elbow grease and a lot of help from our sponsors. We have the Range Rover.
Hello! It's a lot of hard work, but that doesn't mean we don't have a lot of fun.
You've driven the orange double-headed dragon up the hill. Very good.
So with that, it's time to head over to our first drivers meeting and kick off UA 2018.
Drivers meeting!
Welcome to UA 2018! All right, we are going to be on UA Channel 1. Tune your rugged radios to UA Channel 1. One word about UA, it is a team effort. I decide where we're gonna go and I draw a big circle and then say, Trent, color this in.
This is the drivers' meeting for the first day.
Before we break here.
So those guys are giving everybody their plans of what's going to happen today when we head on out to the trail.
We are here because I have a conversation I had with Rick Payway shortly after UA 2017, and we were discussing where UA had not traveled to. So now we can check this one off the box. And so Trent has done all the pre-running and all the route planning. If you would like to please come over here and talk about the route today and what we can expect.
Yes. All right, we're day 1 of Ultimate Adventure, and we are in Wilton, Maine, and we are going to be leaving here. We're doing about a 45-minute little on-road and off-road little drive to the Rocky Mountain Terrain Park, which is in Carthage, Maine. Should be a good time. It's going to be, with all the rain we had last night, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Ready to go out and hit some good trails, get a little muddy, climb some rocks. Stay away from the ticks.
This is what it's about, getting out on the trail with these machines and these guys and just having some fun.
I'm Trent McGee, the second oldest Cronin. And for the second year in a row, editor Hazel has tasked me with pre-running and leading Ultimate Adventure. Now we're heading to the Rocky Mountain Terrain Park, which is the only off-road park open to the public in Maine and one of the very few in all of New England. The park consists of about 700 acres packed with trails, ranging from mild to really wild. You know you're heading to a cool place when there's a windy dirt road to get there, and last night's rain meant a break from the dust, but also a guarantee of muddy trails. All right, guys, like I said, day 1 of Ultimate Adventure, and we are here at the Rocky Mountain Terrain Park in Carthage, Maine. Yay! So this is the park owner, John Steele.
How you guys doing?
Hey, John. Hey. John owns this place. John, tell us a little bit about the property.
So this piece is 100 acres. There's lots of rock. There's lots of mud. Sounds like a lot of you guys are from out west. I don't know if anyone's wheeled in New England before, but it's nothing like anything you've done. I'll promise you that. But we're gonna have a good time. We got some great trails, and you guys got some badass rigs, without a doubt.
We're rolling in the Range Rover on the GoPro.
Hey, my name's Todd Seavey. I get the trail lead today, driving a 1989 Toyota 4Runner that I built with the help of some friends. And man, I'll tell you, I am so excited to be leading this. I can't even believe it. I've been watching and reading about Ultimate Adventure since its inception. We're going down on Franken Beans right now, down into Sarah's Hole that leads us to Franken Beans. We've just cut this one out. There's not a lot of tire tracks in here, so this is gonna make for an ultimate adventure with all these rigs in here.
We're in the Range Rover and we're hitting the trails. The first time this thing has ever been on a trail.
4 low for the first time.
I mean, except maybe in an earlier life.
We just came up Franken Bean. We found out the Range Rover on its maiden voyage, the front locker's not working. We're taking care of that. Shortly down there, it looks like Trent punched a fan through his radiator or something happened. So we're not even 20 yards into this trail and we're already having carnage. It's slick, there's boulders, there's snotty mud. It's awesome.
Got on it just a little bit here on the first obstacle, the first trail, the first day of Ultimate Adventure, and it shucked a belt. So the belt started coming apart. Fortunately, if you have to brake, that's not a bad one. I have a spare. Probably take it a little bit easier and get a new belt tonight.
I have a locker that's not engaging, so we're going to make it fully locked. We're going to use a welder and weld the clutch ring engaged so the locker actually works.
Challenging, I would say, if you don't know your rig very well and it's not well prepared, you know.
You can look at it, it's just mud, slick rocks. Everybody's just gonna have to slide and hit it and hit it and hit it and hit it.
Thanks to all the rain, Franken Beans was like trying to wheel on greasy marbles, and each passing vehicle just made the rocks that much greasier. Throttle and momentum was the only chance to maintain anything approaching forward motion. Well, when all else fails, there's always winching. And there was going to be lots of winching.
On this wet marbly hill, waiting on a bunch of guys up there to get my winch rope hooked up so that I can start following that rope up the hill, because that's the tool we're using, because all the tire tools and horsepower tools and suspension tools didn't work.
What little traction was available diminished with each passing rig, meaning the guys in the back were going to have a rough time.
Gave it too much woo pow and broke the front hub, I think. I thought we had her. Didn't work out today.
The Off-Road Power Products Ram was the heaviest rig on the trip this year, and Cooper's position in line meant that he had only slick and muddy boulders to contend with.
Started at 9, it's about 3:30, what, six and a half hours to run the first section of the trail. We're just getting ready to head up the next section of the trail. We lost a couple of guys due to breakage, but everybody's with us and we're ready to wheel some more.
And Cooper brought his tow rig out here to run this trail, and he's been towing Dave up it. But for some reason, they put bigger axles in the Jeep than they put in the tow rig, and Cooper broke them.
You can see the ring gear there, but
Oh, welded up, good.
You can see a couple teeth, but you can't really get into
Unless
it and
we're
see
on 'em.
a whole lot.
Yeah.
We're not really sure how we're getting out of here. We'll probably just camp right here for the rest of the week.
Well, I guess I'm backing down.
Gonna go up to Roundabout, and we're gonna dip into X's Revenge to Shoulder Deep, and that'll probably finish out our day.
It's just nasty. It's big rocks, loose mud, big diffs, small tires. It's just a big old mess.
Now, the southern guys were right at home in Maine, and they knew that the only answer to the slick conditions was plenty of throttle.
The park's really nice. It's tight, there's a lot of vegetation. I don't know what trail we're on. We got a little rough section there, and we aired down from 12 and 10 to 8 all the way around. For some reason, she's stuck in second, so I had to get a little more juice on it and back up and come into it hard. So.
Well, Todd, this has been a great day of four-wheeling here in Maine. And tell me, is this typical of Maine four-wheeling?
This is Maine four-wheeling right here. This is shoulder deep, and this is atypical of Maine wheeling. These round rocks, a distinct lack of traction once everything
Yes.
gets turned up, and it can be a winch fest in Maine. This is what we get.
Yeah. Well, this is shoulder deep. This is a fantastic trail. Thanks so much for having us.
I'll tell you what, Trent, it was an absolute pleasure to have you guys here. I know everybody that's associated with Rocky Mountain Terrain Park really appreciates you guys coming, and I can't tell you how much fun I had today leading you guys around. This was something else. This is, one of those bucket list things, and thank you very much for letting me participate.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Big tires, big power, and expert driving meant that Keith was the only guy in our group that didn't have to pull cable today.
Little Alabama experience up here in Maine. Just keeping momentum, tires hooking up. Had some good spots. Todd gave me some good ideas what to do at the top, so we try to keep it moving.
It's been a great day on the trail here in Maine at the Rocky Mountain Terrain Park. We've torn up a bunch of stuff, had a really good time. I think it's time to head back down to the parking lot, hit the hotel. Better get to bed early tonight because it's going to be a long day tomorrow.
We did an awesome trail today, but on the way back, the Jeep was handling really funny. Turns out we blew out one of the rod ends snap rings, so it allowed the arm to be moving back and forth. So the axle moved back and forth, so the steering was all kind of like Hawaiian-like. So we stole a snap ring off a new end, same thing, and now we're putting it back together in our machine shop.
So Chris, tell me, what are you doing here, buddy?
Trying to make a press out of a ratchet strap. Press this bushing together to install the snap ring.
Seeing a bunch of nipples on that.
Durham's so used to doing so much with so little for so long, he can do anything with that.
Instead of using the actual tool that we don't have, we're making a push-pull tool. Rather than like all thread or something that jumps it together, we're gonna ratchet strap it. Okay. It's gonna work.
This morning, when we were on the trail,
the front locker was not locking. We decided the magnet was no good, so we slid this collar over and tack welded it in place, and that locks the differential. So now we have a spool in the front, which is way better than having just an open differential. And we have locking hubs from Warren that we can unlock when we're going down the road, or if we only want one of the front wheels pulling. So it's sort of a manual way of regaining our front differential and having traction when we want it.